Another aspect to be aware of about the environment is that, you know, there is no doubt, I mean, I've seen some of the scheme of this road, that, you know, it will be enormously damaging to the local environment. And the people proposing it will say, well, no, you know, we'll mitigate this. We'll build a bit of a wall here or something. We'll kind of lower the embankment here and so on. And just don't believe a word of it. And there's one place you can point to where you know, that I followed the whole case, which is Twyford Down, which is in Hampshire near Winchester, and that was part of the M3, and they built it for a common, you know, down, you know, that was particularly beautiful. And they said, no, it's not going to be too bad. You know, we're going to mitigate it, and you know, it won't ruin the environment, and the old road is going to kind of be destroyed, and it'll be very nice, and so on. And anybody who drives through that bit of hill can see absolutely what a horrendous bit of damage they did. I mean, it's there. They just cut the hill. They just went straight through it. Just kind of, you know, just shored up the embankments on both sides and just kind of left it there. They could have built a tunnel, but they said it's too expensive and so on. So instead, they destroyed an absolutely fantastic bit of you know, rare environment. And actually, it was a fantastic own goal because you know, both sides. Now, both environmentalists and anti-environmentalists say, we don't want another Twyford Down. The roads lobby say, no, please, you know, we won't do anything like that again because it really is too damaging. And of course, environmentalists say, please don't do anything like that. So you know, Twyford Down was in a way a turning point for the roads lobby. It won the battle, but it undoubtedly lost the war. Obviously, on environmental grounds as well, you know, it is very odd that they are proposing a road, you know, at a time when, you know, the EU is demanding that we reduce carbon emissions, and don't believe that, you know, electric cars are on the way very quickly. They're not. You know, despite the fact that there's going to be some subsidies to buy electric cars and so on, really the whole infrastructure of getting a lot of electric cars on the road is 20, 30 years away. You know, I've looked at this, I've written pieces about it, you can see them on my website. You know, it really, you know, and let alone, not only do you have to get electric cars, but you have to get sustainably powered electric cars. So you have to have, you know, wind turbines or whatever powering the electric cars to make a real difference to the environment. And it's not going to happen in the near future, or certainly in the lifetimes of any of us probably over 50. So you know, it's just not feasible. So you know, if you know, I think that's a very big part of the argument that has to be rehearsed in the public inquiry. But if there is an EU imperative to get emissions down, it is, you know, it seems completely contradictory to build a road. I mean, already, you know, we've had a big scheme in the UK fall down on that ground, which was the third runway at Heathrow. The reason why the third runway at Heathrow was you know, really unsustainable was not just because it would demolish 900 homes in a whole village, which was causing kind of outrage, but actually on emissions grounds, it was never going to get past the test. It was always going to be problematic, and so that's a very good argument to accept here. So I'll just try to sum up a little bit, and I'll just sum up by saying and reiterating the point that I think is very important, that in England, you know, about 20 years ago, academics began to put forward something called new realism, which was the idea that, you know, you cannot keep on catering for extra demand for cars. And as I've said, there might be a suggestion that you don't need to do that. But even if you accept the argument that there's going to be more cars on the road, you can't cater for it. There is an insatiable demand, and therefore you have to have other measures to try to deal with transport demand. You either have to try to damp it down in various ways, or you have to provide alternatives such as railways, or in towns, cycling, walking, buses, and so on. But you can't kind of accept it. And another point I'd like to make is that you can win this battle. And I think this is an absolutely crucial point to make. Now, I think there's a lot of politics involved in this. It's extraordinary, I mean, quite extraordinary, that this scheme seems, for the moment, from what we know, to have survived what's happening south of the border at this stage. That they're putting 400 million euros into this when, they're bankrupt. And there's a lot of political capital to be made out of that. I mean, I was talking over dinner just now with some of you and say, well, you can go down to the Doyle and hold up white elephants and say, thanks, you're funding us, with 400 million euros of your money for our white elephant. Do you really want to do that? You get fantastic publicity for that sort of thing. There's enormous scope to oppose this. Just not just on the transport grounds, but on the economic grounds, on the practical grounds, on the environmental grounds, on virtually everything. This is an eminently winnable campaign. And as I say, we've won a lot of campaigns over in England. The A1, the ring roads, there was Oxyus Wood, which was a big campaign in South London where they were going to destroy one of the remaining bits of woodland in South London, and they were going to build a huge bridge over it. That kind of that we won that one, and so on. There's all sorts of battles that have been won, and I see this as very high on the list of completely unsustainable and ridiculous road schemes, of schemes that I've looked at and examined. So it's by no means inevitable that the roads lobby will win this. Just to finish off, I finished off that pamphlet by writing something that I kind of spotted as I was rereading it, which I think is quite a nice kind of campaign motto, which is, you must strive to achieve the achievable, and the unachievable might happen. And I think that in your context, that is, you must strive to stop the road being built, and then you might even, as a bonus, get the railway built.